There's a new law in Southern California. Pedestrians have the right to use the street and can cross a street even if they're not crossing in a crosswalk or at an intersection where there's no crosswalk. Hello, I'm Eli Castronova. I represent pedestrians that are injured using the street in Southern California. Recently, the state of California passed a law called the Freedom to Walk Act. And basically what it says is that pedestrians can no longer be found to be jaywalking if they're crossing a street and they're not at an unmarked crosswalk in an intersection, or at a marked crosswalk, or with the light in an intersection. This is something that the police have been asking for a long time, because they have been compelled to give tickets to jaywalkers, even when it's not a dangerous situation. And this is especially onerous to people that are in lower income communities, because very often in those communities, there are few marked crosswalks, and they're especially not these fancy crosswalks they have now, which when you push a button, they light up, and there's flashing lights and all of this, which alert drivers. So in the past, drivers would basically feel that it's open season on pedestrians that are not in marked crosswalks or at an intersection crossing with a light. And they would be very aggressive with pedestrians, even when the pedestrian was crossing a street safely. So this new law, the Freedom to Walk Act, basically says that a pedestrian can cross the street wherever, as long as they do not cause an unreasonable risk of a crash occurring. I have represented many pedestrians who have been injured outside of crosswalks. And when the visibility is good and the lighting is good, even at nighttime, the driver has to be responsible and be aware of his surroundings. You can't just drive down the road messing with your radio, or talking on your cell phone, or looking wherever and not pay attention to what's in front of you. Very often there are people crossing the streets, and all the driver has to do is pay attention, not be aggressive and drive like a maniac, and they have plenty of time to slow down and stop before they hit somebody. So I think this is a good law. It also puts the responsibility on the pedestrian to cross when it's safe to do so. I have represented people that, as I said, have been very seriously injured in accidents in unmarked crosswalks or on the street where there's no crosswalks. I'm just going to tell you a couple of these stories. We have two clients that were hit when they were crossing a very wide street at dusk. These clients were injured badly, and initially the insurance company for the driver said, well, they're not in a crosswalk, they're not in an unmarked crosswalk, they should have gone up to the closest intersection and waited for the light to change, and then they could have crossed. Well, I personally went out to the scene. I went out there at exactly the same time of dusk that this accident occurred. I have a light meter, and I was able to measure the light. I took photographs from 200 feet away and closer as you approach the area where they were hit. And it was very clear that the driver, if they were paying attention, should have and could have seen these pedestrians and could have stopped in time, that he didn't hit them and hurt them grievously. When I presented these to the insurance company, we were able to obtain a substantial settlement for each of these clients. The case didn't even have to go to court. I have another case, and I have many of these cases, but I have another case in which the client was walking in an unmarked crosswalk in the middle of the street, and the closest traffic signals were a half a mile away on each direction. So it would have been very, very burdensome for this client, who was 78 years old, to walk all the way down to the light. So he waited until it was safe to do so, and he started to cross the street. He was right in the middle of this wide street when a woman came along and hit him, didn't even try to stop. And the insurance company again said that, well, he was jaywalking and he was cited by the police for jaywalking, so we're not responsible. Well, again, I went out to the scene. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon when this happened. The street was level. There were no obstructions to the vision of the driver. And again, we took photographs, and we were able to show that the driver could have seen this person when she was up to a quarter of a mile away. She would have seen him as he stepped up the curb. She would have seen him cross 2 lanes of traffic, and she should have seen him when he was in the middle of the street. But she stated to the police that she did not see him until she was 20 feet away. Well, obviously, she was not being attentive, and she was not paying attention to her surroundings, and she shouldn't have just run into this client. So with all of this information in hand, as well as her own statements to the police that she didn't see him till the last second, we were able to obtain a substantial settlement in a case where initially the insurance company denied fault. So what happens is many attorneys, when these cases come into their office and there are injuries that occur in the middle of a street, not in a crosswalk, and the police report is against the client, and the insurance company denies the case, they don't want anything to do with the case because it takes a lot of work. You have to go out to the scene yourself and check the circumstances. You can't just rely on the other party's word or a police report. You have to get an accident reconstructionist involved that will testify that the line of sight was this many feet, that the driver going at the speed that they said that they were going has this many feet to stop. This costs money. It costs money to get this accident reconstructionist to go out there, $2,500, $5,000, but that's the way to do it right. Most of these attorneys, they let assistants or they hire some investigator to go out and take a look at the scene. It's not the same thing. You have to go out there yourself to know how strong your case is. And that's what I do. I don't leave it to assistants or to investigators. I go out there myself, and I bring a photographer, and we take pictures that accurately show what the driver in the car saw and establish fault that way. So when someone comes into our office, they can be sure that I use my over 30 years of expertise in handling these pedestrian accidents, and that we will fight for them all the way and get the compensation they deserve. The Right to Walk Act is a good law, and we will do our best to make sure that clients are protected when they use unmarked crosswalks, or when they cross in the middle of a block, because they have the right to do that.
Hi there. I am an AI avatar reading a real Google review by Amanda Ferrer. After our family got into an accident caused by a drunk driver, attorney Eli Castronova and his office helped us get through that terrible time. They were very informative and worked quickly with all parties for resolution. Attorney Castronova was great working with my son and daughter. He was easy to talk with and treated us with kindness and respect throughout the entire process. We would definitely recommend him. Thanks for your review, Amanda Ferrer. It's appreciated.
Hi there. I am an avatar reading a real Google review by Scott Dorrell. I can't say enough good things about Eli. Having worked for numerous attorneys, he is my favorite. He has handled numerous cases for my family, and I from personal injury to medical malpractice. He has overexceeded our expectations every time. We just broke the record recently on a hit and run I was involved in, settling the case in 3.5 weeks for more than I expected. Thanks, Elia. The Dorrell family. Thanks for your review, Scott Dorrell. It's appreciated.
Hi there. I am an AI avatar reading a real Google review by Luis Enrique Lopez. It went very well with the lawyer. I highly recommend him 100%. All the staff are very friendly and they help you with any questions. Thanks for your review, Luis Enrique Lopez. It's appreciated.